Well, I'd be called Katie forever now if I don't do that. Okay.
I know I have that problem.
What's wrong with my background?
It makes me look weird.
This is strange, isn't it? Why does it do that? To the lighting?
Yes. Good evening, love.
Hello.
I'm at my parents', hence why I am
Dark and mysterious. That's nice.
Better?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you staying or are you?
I'll stay a little bit.
It's just us, it seems like, unless anybody else shows up in the next 5 minutes.
Is Mike not coming?
I haven't heard specifically from Mike. I feel like Mike is always here, so I'm surprised, but maybe.
He asked if I was going.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a Bina.
Hello.
Hello.
My dad is also here.
Hello.
Hi there,
Very
Bina.
backlit capacity.
Yeah.
Very backlit. But it looks like it's nice outside.
Oh, it's gone. I like that.
Yes, Mum took it away. She thought it looked messy. That's fine. I'm fine.
No.
I'm fine.
Transform.
Is there an Alan in the background?
Hi, Alan.
Hi, background Alan.
Is that photograph in the Muse's room?
Which
It's the
photograph?
one of us
Oh, yeah.
sitting on Gandalf's cart.
How's Trix?
Sorry, we're having a very dull conversation about who's going to bring the laundry in and the light.
The most exciting kinds of conversations.
Oh yes, this is what marital bliss is made of.
Domestic bliss.
Yeah. Why not?
How are you, Bina?
I'm all right. We went on a big cycle.
Nice.
Down like Loch Catrin, and that was really nice. And then we had a drink, not inside a bar, but like that someone else made for us. And we were talking about it, and I think it's the first time we've done that since January 2020.
Wow.
The first time you've done that together, you mean?
Yeah. Like I don't know, there was a point, maybe we had dinner out at some point and we had some coffees out, like when we could do that last time, and we were up in Skye, but we haven't really, like in Glasgow, done that at all. So yeah, very weird.
Nice.
I am at home with my grandparents.
Ooh.
Yay, that's so
So
exciting.
lovely. And today they came to see our house and go for a very slow, very short walk. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I have some options, but I haven't properly thought them through. So
I have one poem which I have thought of.
Is it a thief?
Decay, Dirt and Decomposition.
Oh, I can do that.
Have you got any, Ainsley?
I have a few.
Excellent.
I wasn't sure if this would be a topic that people would have a lot for, but I also like decay, compost, entropy, death. I feel like graveyards, it's just like there's a lot of ways to take it, I feel.
Yeah.
I was telling a friend that I was hosting poetry on decay, dirt, and decomposition. He was like, so that's like all the poetry other than the unrequited love poetry, right? He was like, there's two topics, unrequited love and death.
I thought we were doing death separately another time.
Oh, I don't know.
I have not. I haven't got all my poetry books, so I haven't got all my death ones.
Uh-oh.
But I have lots and lots and lots of poems about death for the day that we did death.
Mm.
Maybe you should use some of them up now, so we're not like.
Because I haven't got them, because I haven't got all my books. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely some things that I thought might fit are not like are like a slightly loose to the theme, but they felt like they would work.
Okay. There was one I have, but I was going to do, but I need to find it. But maybe I should skip it. It might not be.
Apparently there are quite a lot in here about drowning, if they are acceptable.
I feel like the themes for poetry night are suggestions, and that anything that gets suggested by the theme is accurate to what the theme is because it's a suggestion.
Well, my book group
it's
is
like the Rorschach blot of scheduling.
I'm in a book group which has taken on your idea, and we did a poetry night the other night by Zoom. People were
Nice.
Seattle and various places, and we did New Beginnings, which I think was one of your ideas.
Yeah.
It was really, really good because it gives us, COVID, new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, as you point out, people just went on to the love poetry, and after a while, it kind of moved away from it. People were happy.
Yeah. Oh, look, Mike is here.
I feel like we've been going so long now that it's almost easier. I remember the first poetry time we did, and we didn't have a theme at all, and everyone was just like, but I have like 100 more poems I want to share with you.
When are we stopping? Should we continue? Yeah. Let's do it next week.
It lasts like 3 hours.
Also, hi, Mike.
Hello. How are you all? All right? Good to
I had a friend over for dinner in my house.
Wow, that's amazing. Was it good?
It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
My background, if I can.
One day, people will be allowed back in houses here too.
So exciting!
Be very exciting.
Someday it will be allowed.
Tell me all about your
I got
walks,
my blue envelope today.
What's that mean?
It's the invitation for a vaccine.
Okay. Awesome.
Or is it not? Does English not send them out?
No,
England not send them out in blue? You just get a text.
Yeah, we're all up and modern here.
They get to schedule their own appointments.
Yeah, pretty much.
A big stylish blue envelope.
Ah, nice. Get it wall mounted. Huh?
I could frame it forever. I like that I'm getting vaccinated at the place where they generally show cows.
Okay.
At the location for the Royal Highland Fair.
Okay. When you walk in, will it be 200,000? You kind of walk in.
Yeah. Appointment. I have high expectations.
Yeah.
That's definitely better than a sports centre. Mine's in a sports centre.
Ours is in a local community centre. And I know what I thought, this would be good enough for a dance event. That's what I think whenever I walk into any community centre now.
This would be good for dancing. Yeah, good.
I mean, it's kind of wooden floor, it had a nice ceiling. Yes, this is ticking boxes.
Nice.
Look what I got this weekend. Little Tiddler. Then we got Shelf Silverstein, second book.
No.
Quite a bit fat. And finally, Best of Ogden Nash, which is huge. It's like proper 2 fingers. That's almost it's almost breaking my rule, but it just about passes.
Do you have a rule against big books?
Anything fatter than 2 fingers doesn't get read.
Too fat.
That's
a good rule.
If the author can't can't get it out in less than 2
Anybody
fingers,
fatter
then
than
I'm
2
not-
fingers needs an editor. I agree
Exactly,
with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what about Lord of the Rings?
He
I
needed an
didn't even bother.
editor. Absolutely needed an editor.
It's true. It's true.
Oh,
I have
you
love
didn't-
for the books, but like,
Could have been longer.
I didn't read the 4th Harry Potter either. I saw it and thought, no, I'm stopping here.
Oh, it's over.
You needed it.
oh, it's interesting then how many Storytime, would any of the Storytime books, like he wouldn't have picked them up?
How fat's Pride and
Night
Prejudice?
Circus. Night Circus is like,
Was
Pride
that
and
fat?
Prejudice isn't. Pride and
Okay.
Prejudice is like a
Yeah.
relative, but Night Circus is fat.
Short, so
Ah,
it's
okay.
shorter than it would be if it was normal book tall.
Ah, okay.
Okay, for one side.
The Golem and the Ginny was really fat, but I don't know if you were there for that one.
I was, yeah. I did stay for that one. Yeah. It's good having things read rather than having to read.
I feel like I might judge a fatter hardcover, like larger format, like less bad than like the really thick, like trade paperbacks. I'm like, no. If you're like standard trade paperback formatting and you're still, it's no.
I have no
By
objections.
the way,
I'm
How are
like,
the
you're an
grandparents?
audiobook. I'll listen to you.
Oh, how are the grandparents, Katie?
yeah, they're really sweet.
Oh,
They're very happy to be here.
oh, that's sweet. Are they in the background? Are they zoomable?
No,
They're
next one.
they're in the living room
Ah, okay.
having cultured conversations. My granddad was having a discussion with me earlier about what The Burning by Liz Berry was about.
Okay.
Like how I interpreted like the spirit behind it and what was she feeling? Was it lust? Was it regret? Was it jealousy? Like what was the story? And I was like, I've never thought about it in this much detail. And that's really intelligent.
Nice.
What are your thoughts, Bina?
I don't think I know that one as that well.
I don't know.
Like I know I bring the Liz Berry poems a lot, but I don't know them all inside out.
The glass, whatever, has just been broken in front of me. Right.
Are we responsible for like doing in-depth analysis on all poems we bring to poetry time? Because if that is the case, I have no poems.
Oh, yeah, I think we just need to veto all of the previous poetry times. They didn't happen.
I've just been watching a bit of Eurovision. That's been my culture for the evening so far.
Is it good this year?
Eurovision on tonight.
No, I'd say in a word.
No.
I mean, I'm a huge
Is it ever
Eurovision fan.
good in your opinion?
No, it is. It genuinely is.
Okay.
I mean, like
So
the
this just
dancing
isn't a good
grannies
year.
and the happy hipsters. I'm all about that sort of thing. But it's just been just kind of Radio 1 kind of early evening dance music so far.
It's not
So
what
it's
you
a bit.
want.
No,
No, like
I expect
ludicrous.
something like ludicrous and theatrical.
exactly. Yeah. Actually, I just switched off from Portugal was starting. So that sounded okay, actually. But I'll pick it up back up later. So yeah, the plan was I was going to have a friend over and we were going to watch Eurovision together and it was going to be lovely. But she is in, I want to say York or something, today walking with a friend. So that's
Nice.
So I'm recording it and we'll watch it together some other time. Because she's a huge
Nice.
Eurovision fan.
Nice. Well, Katie seems to have some. Bina, do you bring any?
Yes, I'm not
Mike?
sure. Well, I'll jump in as we go along.
Cool. Mike's just along for the ride.
I very much. I might do a frantic Google. So if I ever find anything, I'll tell you.
Awesome. Should we start? So I thought we'd start with Feeding the Worms by Dinesh Lamaris, which I posted on Facebook a while back. Ever since I found out that earthworms have taste buds all over their delicate pink strings of their bodies, I pause, dropping apple peels into the compost bin, imagining the dark, writhing ecstasy, the sweetness of apples permeating their pores. I offer beets and parsley, avocado and melon, the feathery tops of carrots. I'd always thought there is a menial life, eyeless and hidden, almost vulgar, though now it seems they bear a pleasure so sublime, so decadent, that I want to contribute however I can, forgetting a moment my place on the menu.
I love that one. I remember when you shared it. I was like, oh, that's so good.
I have another one by her, so maybe that's a good place to go next.
Or I have one about worms by Margaret Atwood.
Oh, awesome. Do you want to do worms next?
I can do worms next. It's a different vibe. It's called Song of the Worms. We have been underground too long. We have done our work. We are many and one. We remember when we were human. We have lived among roots and stones. We have sung, but no one has listened. We come into the open air at night only to love, which disgusts the soles of boots, their leather strict religion. We know what a boot looks like when seen from underneath. We know the philosophy of boots, their metaphysic of kicks and ladders. We are afraid of boots, but contemptuous of the foot that needs them. Soon we will invade like weeds, everywhere but slowly. The captive plants will rebel with us. Fences will topple, brick walls ripple and fall. There will be no more boots. Meanwhile, we eat dirt and sleep. We are waiting under your feet. When we say attack, you will hear nothing. At first.
I've never heard that one and I love it.
It's quite sinister.
What was it called?
At the end. Song of the Worms.
That's beautiful. Really like that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. Actually, this is like a collection across 30 years of Margaret Atwood poetry, but the collection is Eating Fire.
Nice.
Makes you realise how temporary we are as people with this planet. You know, the human race has been here for such a short time. I'm studying geology at the moment for some reason.
Okay.
And you know that trilobites were the major sea creatures for 200 million years, all right? And then there was a volcanic eruption underneath the sea, and it used up all the oxygen, so they all died. But, 200 million years, all right? We've been around for...
Not that long.
A million? How long have we been around for? I can't remember.
A minute.
Yeah.
We're insignificant
Mm-hmm.
in the long run.
That is very on theme thoughts for
Yeah.
the poetry topic.
Well, maybe on that note, Rilke, Dear Darkening Ground. This is translated by Joanna Macy again. Dear Darkening Ground, you've endured so patiently the walls we've built. Perhaps you'll give the cities one more hour and grant the churches and cloisters too. And those that labor, let their work grip them another 5 hours or 7 before you become forest again and water and widening wilderness, that in that hour of inconceivable terror, when you take back your name from all things. Just give me a little more time. I want to love the things as no one has thought to love them, until they're worthy of you and real.
I have an on-theme one about mushrooms.
Oh, I'm still in my
Everyone loves a mushroom
Mel
poem.
has an on-theme one
No,
about mushrooms.
she'll do mushrooms.
I found it.
You must have heard mushrooms. It's one of the
Yes,
most
I've read it before.
famous poems ever.
Is it Sylvia Plath?
Sylvia Plath? Yeah.
Enough of mushrooms. But it's very similar to what you just did. Overnight, very whitely, discreetly, very quietly, our toes, our noses take hold on the loam, acquire the air. Nobody sees us, stops us, betrays us. Small grains make room. Soft fists insist on heaving the needles, the leafy bedding, even the paving, our hammers, our rams. Earless and eyeless, perfectly voiceless, widen the crannies, shoulder through holes. We diet on water, on crumbs of shadow, bland-mannered, asking little or nothing. So many of us, so many of us. We are shelves, we are tables, we are meek, we are edible, nudgers and shovers in spite of ourselves. Our kind multiplies. We shall, by morning, inherit the earth. Our foot's in the door. And I was told, I did this poem when I was at school. I was told it was about communism.
Really?
Is that true? I don't think it is.
I mean, it could be.
I thought it was about mushrooms myself, but
Maybe.
anyway.
Yeah, not sure. Not sure about that one as an interpretation.
No, neither am I. I think they were just taking the piss. I had a very silly English teacher.
Really?
Mike, I'm into Carnage at a Flower Show.
Okay, fab.
Do you want it now or some other time?
I don't mind, whenever you feel is appropriate for the curation of the evening.
Oh,
I
now's
can drop it in
good.
now. Now it's good? Okay, cool. This is
Unless
from,
anybody else thinks that Carnage at a Flower Show would be inappropriate, right?
this is called The Chelsea Flower Show Massacre.
I'm so
There was-
concerned.
by Brian Bilston. There was death amongst the daffs, the day Fleur took her secateurs and ran amok among the flock of horticulturalists in the Chelsea gardens, without so much as a beg your pardon. Roses were red, violets were too, ears were sheared, nosegays chopped, noses, toes trimmed, and green fingers lopped, as Fleur took the lawn into her own hands and mowed them all down. Even the failure of Lady Prue's azalea bed became overshadowed by the trail of dead. Herbaceous borders filled up with her slaughters, and there was carnage in the carnations, annihilation amidst the anemones, hysteria in the wisterias, nastiness in the nasturtiums. No one could remember a flower show bloodier, if only someone had nipped it in the buddlier.
Oh, that was wonderful.
I like that's a totally different, like just such a different vibe.
Yep.
It's the most wholesome Mike contribution to this theme, because I know you were like, it's not really my theme, you know.
How is compost not wholesome? It's literally nourishing.
I've got one about a dead night
Oh, I think I know the one. Do it.
by John Masefield.
Go.
The kindly rush of the mountain air and the mumbling, grumbling bumblebees are the only things that wander there. The pitiful bones are laid at ease. The grass has grown in his tangled hair, and a rambling bramble binds his knees. To shrive his soul from the pangs of hell, the only requiem bells that rang were the harebell and the heather bell. Hushed he is with the holy spell, in the gentle hymn the winds sang, and he lies quiet and sleeps well. He is bleached and blanched with the summer sun, the misty rain and cold dew have altered him from the kingly one that his lady loved and his men knew, and dwindled him to a skeleton. The vetches have twined about his bones, the straggling ivy twists and creeps in his eye sockets, the nettle keeps vigil about him while he sleeps. Over his body the wind moans with a dreary tune throughout the day, in a chorus wistful, eerie, thin, as the gulls cry, as the cry in the bay, the mournful word the seas say, when tides are wandering out or in. So that's sort of like couple of years after, when everyone's dead and the plants are growing around them.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a Holly McNeish one
Ooh.
about death, but in a sort of slightly hopeful way, called Fill Your Basket. Only so long bones will be covered by muscle, muscle covered by flesh. Only so long limbs will be able to stretch, ear and throat fill up with song. Only so long skin will be able to hold a hug, a kiss, a caress. Till then, let us cram these baskets of body with what life we are lucky to get.
Aw.
I like that.
Oh, that's really nice.
It's the loveliest poems about death that we've heard so far.
I think maybe this one would be nice afterwards. It's called Compost by Dan Charlotti. There is magic in decay, a dance to be done for the rotting, for the maggot-strewn piles of flesh that pile upon the dung-ridden earth, and the damp that gathers and rusts and defiles. There's a bit of this, even in the most zootic soul. The dancing child's arms flailing to an old ska song conduct the day-old flies away from whatever rank native is closest. Just today, I was walking along the river with my daughter in my backpack, and I opened my email on my phone, and Duffy had sent me a poem called Compost. I read it to my little girl and started to explain. Before I was 3 words in, Selma started yelling, "Daddy, Daddy, a snake!" In the path was a snake, belly up, it's still nerve twitching, the ghost of some passing bicycle or horse. Pretty, Selma said. Yes, I said. And underneath my yes, another yes. The yes to my body, just beginning to show signs of slack. And another, my grasping in the dark for affirming flesh, that in turn says, yes, yes, let's rot together. But not until we've drained what sap is left in these trees. And I wake up in the morning and think of the coroner calling to ask what color my father's eyes were. And I asked, why? Why can't you just look? And the coroner matter-of-factly says, decay. Do you want some eggs, my love? I have a new way of preparing them. And look outside. I think this weather has a chance of holding.
It's so good as well.
Mm.
I thought maybe The Common Living Dirt by Marge Piercy would
Yeah.
follow. Well, the small ears prick on the bushes. Furry buds, shoots tender and pale. The swamp maples blow scarlet. Color teases the corner of the eye. Delicate gold, chartreuse, crimson. Mauve speckled, just dashed on. The soil stretches naked, all winter, hidden under the down comforter of snow. Delicious now, rich in the hand as chocolate cake. The fragrant, busy soil the worm passes through her gut and the beetle swims in like a lake. As I kneel to tuck the seeds in, careful as stitching, I am in love. You are the bed we all sleep on. You are the food we eat, the food we ate, the food we will become. We are walking trees rooted in you. You can live thousands of years, undressing in the spring your black body, your red body, your brown body, penetrated by the rain. Here is the goddess unveiled, the earth opening her strong thighs. Yet you grow exhausted with bearing too much, too soon, too often, just as a woman wears through like an old rug. We have contempt for what we spring from. Dirt, we say. You're dirt, as if we were not all your children. We have lost the simplest gratitude. We lack the knowledge we showed 10,000 years past, that you live a goddess, but mortal, that what we take must be returned, that the poison we drop in you will stunt our children's growth. Tending a plot of your flesh binds me as nothing ever could to the seasons, to the will of the plants, clamorous in their green tenderness. What calls louder than the cry of a field of corn ready, or trees of ripe peaches? I worship on my knees, laying seeds in you, that worship rooted in need, in hunger, in kinship, flesh of the planet with my own flesh, a ritual of compost, a litany of manure. My garden's a chapel, but a meadow. Gone wild in grass and flower is a cathedral. How you seethe with quick little ones, vole, field mouse, shrew and mole in their thousands, rabbit and woodchuck. In you rest the jewels of the genes wrapped in seed. Power warps because it means joy in standing over, because it means forgetting how we too starve, break like a cornstalk in the wind, how we die like the spinach of drought, how what poisons the vole slays us. Because you can die of overwork, because you can die of the fire that melts rock, because you can die of the poison that kills the beetle and the slug. We must come again to worship you on our knees, the common living dirt.
Nice.
I would like to do Ode to Dirt, but it's upstairs. Can I go and get it?
I was going to end on that one.
Oh, okay. You can do that instead.
Hi, Jonathan.
But that would be a good one to come after this one. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey.
Trees.
Hello. Yeah, I'm sitting at the foot of a.
You meant Sharon Old's
Sitting at
Ode
the
to
foot of a
Dirt,
tree.
not somebody else's Ode to Dirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Whereabouts are you, Jonathan?
I'm in Gosforth Park in a woodland here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, can I turn the camera around? Hang on. Sitting in a meadow, maybe it will be.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The birds sound so good.
They do.
There's been a lot of deer around. I've disturbed a lot of deer as I've been walking through. Just nice rabbits and deer.
Nice.
And lots of birds. So, yeah.
I've got one that I wasn't sure would fit, but I feel like it fits after that. So it's called I Believed I Understood the Land, and it's by Adam Horowitz. I believed I understood the land once, long ago. A child running in his mother's footsteps, who gleaned the names of birds that burst from the hedgerow, who pulled up solid fronds of fern that leaned out into his path to be a sword and a plowshare, and imagined toys that soiled his hands and greened the valley sunlight as he caught foxes unaware when they bolted home across the failing pasture spilled out below his house. I would not dare now to say I understood anything of land. It has no master, only people who strive to learn and understand the minutes of it and the hours. The earth moves faster than we can comprehend. So seek a segment, find a strand of it that you can love. Listen to the movement in one hedge, attune to it. See what it will give. Make no demand. If you've listened, you'll know that we're balanced on the edge between oblivion and life, and the only charm for our salvation comes in the moments when we pledge to do no lasting damage cause as little harm as we can manage in field or office, city street or farm.
I could maybe follow that one with one about Bagridge, which is now a country park not far from where I'm from. And although it's by a local to Wolverhampton person, it is not Lisbury. It's Natalie Verdun. I know. She doesn't write in dialect, so I will not be doing a Lisbury voice.
Oh.
It's in 3 parts. Bagridge. 1. After heavy rain, water is trapped near the surface by a layer of clay, red as a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, collects in puddles of orangeade, then overflows them, streaming across fields. Cuts down through history, leaving tide marks of black dust on paths first cleared for coal trucks, for open pits and deep mines, with seams that men could stand in. Paths between Bag Pool, White's Wood and the burning field have been relaid with slag to open up the territory for walkers, foragers, birders. Wash away leaf litter to show young soil, then red gravel and white grit, then sand, and under that, knuckles of hardcore, half buried in the clay that sticks us to our bedrock. 2. 300 million years ago, amphibians crawled out of swamps. Giant trees staked their claim, loaded with lignin, slow to rot, accumulated where they fell to form the peat that gave itself for coal. Molten magma from deep volcanoes, charged through gaps in rocks, hardened to basalt, tough as Dudley miners, eroded in soil and clay, maintained a vigorous spirit, yearning to find a way back into fire. Lord Dudley gave away his granddaughter's hand and brought back land with coal and limestone. 3,000 men were employed to get at it, send it up to Round Oak Steelworks. A line of viscounts, earls and lords sold the clay for high-quality bricks, cut new canals, created the Black Country, left spoil heaps, foggy ponds, budged earth, red water. 3. Today, an artificial spoil heap dwarfs the brickwork tower. Below, 2 car parks, model railway, cafe, orchard, wardens, doll with half a leg missing and soil-filled eye sockets, an info board marked by rust and cigarette burns. With cleaner air, lichen is returning, spread thick as butter along the older fence tops, smeared on the edge of steps down to the ponds, gathers itself in new blossomings, a fringed bikini halfway up a tree, lavish furs on fallen branches, seeping up the base of walls, warming their feet as they crumble. You were talking about geology earlier, and that reminded me of that one as well. So recommend. He wrote the soy sauce fish, umami fish one as well.
They do still say that lichen is a sign of good air. They do.
It's true.
Who needs a glass, eh?
Just a beer.
and bottles all the way. Or straight
Mm.
from the can, definitely.
Yeah.
Minimize washing up. That's my life rule.
Except with wine, I always put wine in the glass.
Not a straw.
I mean, the bottle size is so far off of what you want to feel like you're sitting down to drink in one go on purpose that
That is true.
it would be like sitting down with a whole bottle of vodka. That's a bit too much as well. Like, I've got one that might be good after that, which is called Dirt by Kwame Dawes. We who gave owned nothing, learned the value of dirt, how a man or a woman can stand among the unruly growth, look up into its limits, and place a stone and entanglements, and suddenly understand the meaning of a name, a deed, a currency of personhood. Here, where we have labored for another man's gain, if it is fine to own dirt and stone, it is fine to have a plot where a body may be planted to rot. We who have built only that which others have owned, learned the ritual of trees, the rights of fruit picked and eaten, the pleasures of ownership. We who have fled with swords at our backs know the things that they have stolen from us, and we will walk naked and filthy to the open field, knowing only that this piece of dirt, this expanse of nothing, is the earnest of our faith in the idea of tomorrow. We will sell our bones for a piece of dirt. We will build new tribes and plant seeds and bury our bones in the dirt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a good theme, by the way.
I love poems about dirt, and I feel like I avoided suggesting it because they're soft and very death oriented, and I feel like we're sort of coming into times when people aren't so stressed, so maybe it's okay to think a bit about death.
Yeah.
We're going to have like a bumper double session on death.
Sorry?
We're going to have a really long poetry time on death.
I mean, there's a lot.
Actually, you know, we've only had one dedicated session for love poems as well. Like, we could probably repeat that theme again now.
Yeah.
We also have Palantines.
That's true.
And then there's been a few that like have been open enough that there's been a lot of love poetry like come in kind of sideways.
Yeah. There's maybe a Liz Berry one called Placenta that fits with that one. So, placenta. Some women eat theirs, but I buried mine beneath the black waters at Wren's Nest with a steel shovel, and my bare fingers delivered it back to subterranean fires. It was a gorgeous, fecund thing, mechanical but carnal, veined like a beast's heart. It smeared my hands burgundy, my mouth with the starry gut punch of our first kiss. Blood ablation. The weight of it knocked the breath from me. When I cradled it above its grave, it was crawling with jewels, trilobites and brachiopods, blinking eyes which saw only briny hot darkness and flood upon flashing flood of creation. The land moaned as I knelt, parting her seams, the chamber within soot and pearl. I spoke his name and spat on the plot.
If while you were reading, Bina, you saw all of our heads go this way, it was because Jonathan shouted in the chat, "Dear," but his camera was sideways.
Can't see
the tears.
I think it's a little too dark for you to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't think I see. I mean, exciting. There's a deer. That's cool.
Yeah. And Mike, this collection definitely.
Oh, that's an instant win. Yeah. That's like a 10-minute
job. Very narrow.
Yeah. Has anyone had placenta?
No. Like eaten it?
Hmm.
No.
Is it not just sometimes mothers eat them? But I didn't think then other people were like offered them. I don't know.
I
Well, if
have
the
not
mother
heard
says
of
that,
other people
I'm not going to
being
eat this. Does anyone else want this? It's fresh.
full of iron.
I mean, it's meant to be good for you because of that, right? Like
Oh.
after you have lost, I don't know, spent 9 months redirecting a lot of your own nutrients into the body of another person.
Yeah. I have one about composting people. It's called The Book of the Dead Man. And it starts with a quote, "Live as if you are already dead," which is a Zen admonition. 1. About the dead man and fungi. The dead man has changed his mind about moss and mold, about mildew and yeast, about rust and smut, about soot and ash. Whereas once he turned from the sour and the decomposed, now he breathes deeply in the underbelly of the earth, of mushrooms, baker's yeast, fungi of wood decay, and the dogs preceding their masters to the burnt acre of morals. And the little seasonals themselves stuck on their wobbly pin stems. For in the pen they float without crisping, for they are not without a hint of the sublime, nor a curl of the hand. These are the caps and hairdos, the mini umbrellas, the zeppelins of a world in which human beings are heavy-footed mammoths. Puffballs and saucers, red currant recumbent, they fill the encyclopedia, not wrought for the pressed eternity of flowers or butterflies. Loners and armies alike appearing overnight at the point of return. They live fast, they die young, they will be back. 2. More about the dead man and fungi. The fruit of the fungi, a mushroom's birthing, is an arrow from below. It is because of Zeno's paradox that one cannot get there by half measures. It is the fault of having anything else to do. The dead man prefers the mushroom of the gatherer to that of the farmer. Gilled or ungilled, stemmed or stemless, woody or leathery, the mushroom is secretive, yes, by nature. Each mushroom was a button, each a flowering. Some glow in the dark. Medicinal or toxic, each was lopped from the stump of eternity. The dead man has seen them take the shapes of cups and saucers of sponges, logs, and bird nests. The dead man probes the shadows. He fingers the crannies and undersides. He spots the mushrooms underfoot just in time. When the dead man saw a mushrooming cloud above Hiroshima, he knew. He saw that death was beautiful from afar. He saw that nature is equidistant from the nourishing and the poisonous, the good and the bad, the beginning and the end. And he knew the littlest mushroom shivering on its first day was a signal. Mushrooms.
The most annoying fact about mushrooms is that despite being a vegan, Malcolm doesn't like them. And it's very difficult.
That is the most annoying fact about mushrooms. I agree.
I just like constantly forget because I'm
no.
oh, this like recipe would be really, oh no. Not like I don't forget and then cook them for him. But I definitely like forget when I'm meal planning for something that Malcolm is going to be at.
Oh.
Then remember, and I'm always just like, it's an opinion, but it's wrong. Like,
I mean, I agree.
He just hasn't found the right mushroom yet. That's what it is.
Maybe it is.
It's obviously the case.
There's lots of different ones.
It's true. There's many options with mushrooms. I remember when Lisa and Jonas came with the giant like puffball mushroom to Highland Fusion, and I think the first person they bumped into, or at least the person that I saw them bump into first, was Malcolm, and they were like, "Oh my god, mushroom!" And he was like, "I'm excited for you." They were like, "Look at this," and I was like, "Ah!" And he was like, "Oh."
Had they foraged it, or did they?
Yeah, they like found it on a lunch pause on their way
wow,
up to the event, and it was like,
okay. Because yeah, I don't know what the rules are for the ones you can eat and the ones you shouldn't eat.
You have to be careful, and you have to know what you're doing. Learn from someone who knows what they're doing.
I do not know what I'm doing, so I don't forage mushrooms.
Gustav's relatively confident, which means every once in a while Frankie sends us messages with pictures of mushrooms being like, "Mushroom Daddy, tell me what to do." and Gustav's like, "I'm not comfortable with this." I don't.
The name Mushroom Daddy, or the actual.
I mean, I think he likes that, but I don't think he's a fan of. I'm not sure he's entirely comfortable giving people mushroom advice. He's like, "Tell her that she should be very careful." He's much more conservative with text advice than he is with like real life mushrooms. He's like, okay, if he sees it in real life, he's like, I know what this is. I know I can eat it. But if someone sends him a picture, he's like, no.
I think I read somewhere, probably wrongly, that if in a survival like mode, just have a little nibble and then like wait an hour, and if you don't get a dicky tummy, then it's okay.
There aren't any mushrooms in the UK that will kill you if you just have a little tiny bit of one.
Yeah. And there are certain sets of mushrooms that like, if there's certain things about certain mushrooms, if you look at it and you be like, it's got these characteristics, you can guarantee that none in that set anywhere in the world are poisonous.
Oh, okay.
Like they might not taste good. Like in that family, some are delicious and some are like,
yeah.
But none of them will kill you. So there's certain mushrooms that are like easier to forage because you can be like, okay. It meets these three things, therefore it's in this family, and therefore either it'll be delicious or it'll be boring. But at least I will be alive.
But it's not red and it's not glowing, so it might be okay.
Yeah, avoid the glowing ones. Really? And the red spotty ones. And many other ones.
There were some good mushrooms today, but I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
They were
Did you see photos?
Growing off a tree stump.
Oh. I like the ones which are actually growing off the side of a tree. They're just kind of like a plate. Someone's like rammed a plate into a tree. Have you seen those before?
Oh, bracket fungus.
Bracket.
Ah, okay.
Oh. You can eat them as well.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them.
Yeah. But they're
Not
very tough, so you've got to cook them properly. It's quite tricky, actually.
Okay. Mm. I always wonder how they got there.
They just climbed.
They're tiny mushroom feet.
Just not when anyone's watching.
It's like Toy Story. Yeah.
Bop, bop, bop.
I did finally make a trip to the Asian supermarket this week and brought back enoki mushrooms for Alan because they're his favorite kinds of mushrooms. But like they're his favorite kind of mushrooms, but they're still mushrooms. But he was genuinely, I was like, I brought you a present, like, and he was genuinely incredibly pleased.
Oh, that's really sweet.
So. I did that last time I went to our local Chinese supermarket. I brought Gustav back century eggs, and I was like, and he was like, "Oh my god, I love you."
Oh.
I was like, "These are weird and disgusting. I don't like them, but I understand that you like them."
No.
I don't like my eggs to be translucent and black. Thank you. But he's so excited.
Oh, that's really sweet. Oh.
We're coming up on 10. Are we wanting to wrap up, or are we happy to continue?
I think I might have run out of sort of things that aren't just about death, in like not a contextual to death and decay kind of a way.
Fair. Yep.
This This has been
like
a lot
3 or 4 left.
Yeah, this has been a lot more hopeful than I thought it was going to be.
I find the reason I love poems about dirt is they're also hopeful.
It's really great. Whereas if we had a death evening, this is going to be a bit deathly. But all this bit about dirt and compost and mushrooms, it's all kind of regeneration, and I think it really has been a really. I wouldn't like to start the death chat just now at 10 o'clock. I think that's a bit.
I agree.
Any more on the manure story? I'll take it. If you've ever made your own compost, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I have a fantastic composter that is magic. I'm in love.
Tell me about your composter, like by direct message, because we need to get one.
Okay.
Is it an indoor one or an outdoor one?
It's an outdoor one. It's a hot bin. It goes so fast.
Yeah, we've got a rotating one that rotates the earth, so the rats can't get at it and stuff. Nobody's in there except for the worms. And when you open it up after 6 months, it's just full of worms. It's amazing. It's
nice.
Where did the worms come from?
I don't know.
How did they get in?
I don't know.
Worms are magic. They just I've got one by Walt Whitman called Compost, on that note.
Right.
How do worms breed? Just as a side note.
I think they lay eggs, don't they?
Do they?
The only thing I have, which I'm pretty sure was like a playground myth, is if you cut them in half, they're fine and grow back, and then there's 2.
That's definitely
I've
not
heard
right.
that's not true anymore.
Definitely.
I don't think that's true.
It's not true.
QI did that. No, not QI. No Such Thing as a Fish did that a few weeks back. I'm like, no, it's not true. Sorry, Vina.
It just makes kids feel better when they accidentally cut a
true.
worm in half with their shovel when they're digging.
That is sad when it happens.
It is. It is very sad.
I'm trying to think. They did say there is an animal that does. I can't remember what it is.
There's many that grow their tails back.
Yes. Yeah, lots of lizards and things. No, they said it was a type of. I can't remember the name. Anyway, I'll have to Google it.
Don't know.
It's very clever.
Should we have the compost one?
I could do Compost. Compost by Walt Whitman.
Carry on.
1. Something startles me where I thought I was safest. I withdraw from the still woods that I loved. I will not go now to the pastures to walk. I will not strip the clothes from my body to meet my lover in the sea. I will not touch the flesh to the earth I will not touch my flesh to the earth as to other flesh to renew me. Oh, how can it be that the ground itself does not sicken? How can you be alive, you growths of spring? How can you furnish health, you blood of herbs, roots, orchards, grain? Are they not continually putting distempered corpses within you? Is not every consonant worked over and over with the sour dead? Where have you disposed of these carcasses, those drunkards and gluttons of so many generations? Where have you drawn off all the foul liquid and meat? I do not see any of it upon you today, or perhaps I am deceived. I will run a furrow with my plow. I will press my spade through the sod and turn it up underneath. I am sure I will expose some of the foul meat. 2. Behold this compost, behold it well. Perhaps every mite has once formed part of a sick person. Yet behold, the grass of spring covers the prairies. The bean bursts noiselessly through the mold in the garden. The delicate spear of the onion pierces upwards. The apple buds cluster together on the apple branches. The resurrection of the wheat appears with pale visage out of its graves. The tinge awakens over the willow tree and the mulberry tree. The he-birds carol mornings and the evenings while the she-birds sit on their nests. The young of poultry break through the hatched eggs. The newborn animals appear. The calf is dropped from the cow, the colt from the mare. Out of its little hill faithfully to rise the potato's dark green leaves. Out of its little hill rises the yellow maize stalk. The lilacs bloom in the dooryards. The summer growth is innocent and disdainful above all of the strata of sour dead. What chemistry! That the winds are really not infectious, that this is no cheat, this transparent green wash of the sea, which is amorous after me, that it is safe to allow it to lick my naked body and all over with its tongues, that it will not endanger me with the fevers that have deposited themselves in it. That all is clean forever and ever, that the cool drink from this well tastes so good. The blackberries are so flavorous and juicy that the fruits of the apple orchard and the orange orchard and the melons and grapes and peaches and plums will none of them poison me. That when I recline on the grass, I do not catch any disease, though probably every spear of grass rises out of what was once a catching disease. Now, I am terrified at the earth, that it's calm and patient. It grows such sweet out of such corruptions. It turns such harmless and stainless on its axis, with such endless successions of displeased corpses, and distills such exquisite winds out of such infused fetor, and renews with such unwitting looks its prodigal, annual, sumptuous crops. It gives such divine materials to men, and accepts such leavings from them at last.
Yay! Compost.
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 The answer was jellyfish. Jellyfish can get cut in half and become
Really?
jellyfish. Yeah, because they haven't got brains, lungs, they've got no organs. They've just set
It's
of nerves.
true. They're just like
Just a bundle of
jelly and
nerves. Yeah.
arms.
When you get off the
Excellent
bus,
jellyfish impression.
Dinging.
Thank you.
when you go on a French train journey, you buy a
Huh?
ticket and then you get on the train, and then when you get off the train, you compost your ticket in a little machine. And if you don't
That's
do
true.
that, then you get fined.
I have a
Sure.
very short poem about jellyfish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's by G.K. Chesterton. It's called Trial It. I wish I were a jellyfish that cannot fall downstairs. Of all the things I wish to wish, I wish I were a jellyfish that hasn't any cares, and doesn't even have to wish. I wish I were a jellyfish that cannot fall downstairs.
So cute.
Sorry, that was not on the theme of compost, but I was looking through the book.
It was on the theme of jellyfish. So.
Totally relevant.
Theme.
I've got one on worms, which is sort of like jellyfish, not really, in that we've learned that you cannot cut them in half anymore. And have
Unlike
them
when
live.
we were children in the good old days.
in the good old days of childhood illusion, when my rabbit lived forever,
Oh.
and you could cut jellyfish in half or cut worms in half, and they would be just two worms.
Is that a rabbit that somehow changed its colours and its spots moved around its body over time?
No, it stayed black.
Okay.
It was always black. It got bigger.
Okay.
Eventually, the boy rabbit had rabbit babies,
Ah,
which was
interesting.
confusing.
Okay.
But yeah, childhood illusion.
Oh.
This is called Worms by Carl Dennis. Aren't you glad, at least, that the earthworms under the grass are ignorant as they eat the earth? Of the good they confer on us, that their silence isn't a reproof of our bad manners. Our never casting earthworms a crumb of thanks for their keeping the soil packing so tight that no root, however determined, could pierce it. Imagine if they suspected how much we owe them, how the weight of our debt would crush us, even if they enjoyed keeping the grass alive, the garden flowers and vegetables, the clover, and wanted nothing that we could give them, not even the merest nod of acknowledgement. A debt no angels would be easy in comparison. Sorry, a debt to angels would be easy in comparison. Bright, weightless creatures of the cloud who serve an even brighter and lighter master. Lucky for us, they don't know what they're doing. Those puny anonymous creatures of dark and damp who eat simply to live, with no more sense of a mission than nature feels in providing for our survival. Better save our gratitude for a friend who gives us more than we can give in return and never hints she's waiting for reciprocity. Quote, if I have a nickel, I'll give it to you, the lover says, who, having nothing available in the solid indicative world, scrapes up a coin or two in the world of the subjunctive. A nickel with a hole drilled on top so you can fasten it to your bracelet, a charm to protect you against your enemies. For his sake, she'd wear it, not for her own, so he might believe she's safe as she saunters home across the field at night, the moon above her, below her the loam, compressed by the soles of her loafers, and the tunneling earthworms, silent, tireless, as they persist, oblivious in their service.
I must admit, I did not know there were so many poems about worms.
It's amazing.
It's like so many poems about worms.
Oh.
Is it just me now? I think I've got two more.
Okay.
But if anybody has anything to hop in with, feel free. This is also Junior Lermas, who we started on, and this is called Dust. It covers everything, fine powder, the earth's gold breath falling softly on the dark wood dresser, blue ceramic bowls, picture frames on the wall. It wafts up from canyons, carried on the wind, on the wings of birds and the rough fur of animals as they rise from the ground. Sometimes it's copper, sometimes dark as ink. In great storms, it even crosses the sea. Once, when my grandmother was a girl, a strong gale lifted red dust from Africa and took it thousands of miles away to the Caribbean, where people swept it from their doorsteps and kept it in small jars. Remainder of that other home. Gandhi said, the seeker after truth should be the humbler than dust. Wherever we go, it follows. I take a damp cloth, swipe the windowsills, the lamp's top shade, run a finger over the dining room table, and still it returns, settling in the gaps between the floorboards, gliding the edges of unread books. What could be more loyal, more lonely, and unsung?
I found one. The Shel Silverstone one. Not from this
I
book.
expected there to be dirt or worms ones in Shel Silverstone. I just
Thank
didn't
you. I
remember
just
it.
completely said the name wrong. Thank you very much. My brain was another thing.
I loved him when I was small.
Oh, I've only just discovered him. It's like, oh, this is so good. I need to get all the things. Yeah.
He was like such a thing when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
favorite children's poetry when I was small. He might be Canadian, which might make him, or maybe it was just age.
He's
but
definitely not European. He's definitely kind of over that side of the water. Yeah.
From over there.
Yeah, the other place. Yeah. So this is The Dirtiest Man in the World by Shel Silverstein. Nice and short, only 4 lines. Oh, I'm Dirty Dan, the world's dirtiest man. I have never taken a shower. I can't see my shirt, it's so covered with dirt, and my ears have enough to grow flowers. Oh, sorry, there is more. There's loads more. Oh, heck.
It's another page.
It's quite a long one, actually. Let's just stick it with that, unless you want me to read it blind.
Keep going.
Oh, goodness, okay.
I read most poetry blind.
Okay. Okay, enough to grow flowers. But the water is either a little too hot or else it's a little too cold. I'm musty and dusty and patchy and scratchy and mangy and covered with mold. But the water is always a little too hot or else it's a little too cold. I live in a pen with 5 hogs and a hen and 3 squizzly lizards who creep in. Creep in my bed and they itch as I squirm and I twitch in the cruddy old sheets that I sleep in. If you look down my throat with a flashlight, you'd note that my insides are coated with rust. I creak when I walk, and I squeak when I talk, and each time I sneeze, I blow dust. I thought of a towel, and some soap makes me howl, and when people have something to tell me, they don't come and tell it, they stand back and yell it. I think they're afraid they might smell me. bedbugs that leap in me sing me to sleep, and the garbage flies buzz me awake. They're the best friends I've found, and I fear they might drown, so I never go anywhere near a lake. Each evening at 9, I sit down to dine with the termites who live in my chair, and I joke with the bats who have intimate chats with the cooties that crawl through my hair. I'd brighten my life if I just found a wife, but I fear that that will never be, until I can find a girl, gentle and kind, with a beautiful face and a sensitive mind, who sparkles and twinkles and glistens as shined, and who's almost as dirty as me. And that is the end that time.
That's excellent. I'm glad you got the second page.
Yeah, because I'm on a website and it shows like the first 4 lines, then there's an advert, and then there's like more lines and another advert and more lines. I just thought it was just the top 4 lines.
Uh-oh.
But it works quite well as a short one anyway, I think.
Final one to wrap up. So, Ode to Dirt by Sharon Olds. Dear Dirt, I'm sorry that I slighted you. I thought you were just only the background for the leading characters, the plants and animals and human animals. It's as if I had loved only the stars and not the sky, which gave them space in which to shine. Subtle, various, sensitive, you are the skin of our terrain. You're our democracy. When I understood that I had not honored you as a living equal, I was ashamed of myself. As if I had not recognized a character who looked so different from me. But now I can see us all made of the same basic materials, cousins of that first exploding from nothing, in our intricate equation together. Oh, Dirt, help us to find ways to serve your life. You who have brought us forth and fed us, and who at the end will take us in and rotate with us and wobble and orbit.
That one's so great.
Hey. Ciao. Thank you, Ainsley.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for the theme.
I love dirt. Really committed to compost. I mean, I might be less committed to compost if it was my job in our house. Gustav takes care of it mostly, so I just get to enjoy the benefits of compost. I don't have to get up to my elbows in it, to be fair. But I like a good poem about worms.
Cool.
Jonathan, are you still in a forest?
I'm surprised the forest isn't darker yet. Oh, it is dark. It's just your camera that's showing it off as brighter.
Who's on the street lamps?
Walking home. You're muted. I feel like you're talking to us, but we can't hear you. I see your face moving.
Don't look like you're muted either.
No, we
Yeah,
just
I was
can't hear you. Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've vacated the forest and I'm walking home. Yeah, in the moonlight. If you want to.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
sure you can see your own moon actually, wherever you are. Yeah. Nice walk in the forest. So. And nice poetry as well. So thank you.
Thanks for coming.
My
Should we say
pleasure.
goodbye to the catch-up crew? Bye, catch-up crew.
Bye.
May your compost always be nutritional.
Don't see them. You can chat it. Thank you.
Well, this is amazing. Someone else is putting the poetry books away.
I was going to leave them there.
Oh, okay.
Good night, everybody.
Oh,
Good
nice.
night. Nice to have you along.
I was going to say, on the topic of outside and gardens and things, I did a litter pick today, which was fun with friends who I used to go salsa dancing with. It was great. So I think I managed to collect 8 bin bags full of rubbish.
Oofed.
The park looks a lot
That's
prettier
much.
now.
Good job.
Yeah. Go team. Yeah.
Mm.
And thank you for
I, on the other
reminding me,
hand, our
Katie.
city came by and cleaned up my street, and with a cleaner, and me and my neighbor had to, or my neighbor mostly was like, please don't kill all the poppies. We have big poppies growing out of our wall, and city was coming by to pick out all the weeds and garbage
Oh,
and
I
things.
see.
And we were like, no, we like the weeds, keep them.
Oh.
Rescue the weeds.
Oh.
I'm slightly worried that all the, all the the little tiny bollards they put up around the new cycle lanes. Maybe you haven't got them, but I think that the street
Oh
cleaners
yeah.
go over them because the cycle lanes are just full of glass.
Oh.
Way
Oh,
more than I remember.
that's
Yeah.
not good.
Not good.
Yeah, there's a few here that they're not even tiny bollards. They're like tall like this. They're like big pegs that block off the cycle path. And it's like when it was snowing, the cycle path was snow. They didn't clear it at all. There wasn't even a thought in the direction of clearing it. I think mostly because these things completely prevent the current.
Well, no, I think certainly in Glasgow, the council are bad at clearing cycle paths, pavements, anything but the bit where the cars go just doesn't get any attention. When it has snowed or if it is icy, it's much safer to cycle, and it's much safer to cycle in the middle of the road, on the road, rather than on separate cycle paths, because the cars have melted the middle of the road and it's been prioritized. So at that point in the year, I would just not use the cycle path. I've come off my bike on specific cycle path sheet ice.
Yeah, even when they're cleared, it's too shiny.
Katie, your hair's looking lovely today. Super curly.
Oh, thank you.
Have you done anything special with it today? Looks fab.
I was in a car with the window open. Perhaps that's all you might do.
Did you have your head out the door like a dog? Hair kind of blowing in the wind.
Very happy dog.
Oh.
I saw a very happy dog today that wanted to swim in the loch, and it was with its owner.
Oh.
And they were walking down the road, and it came and it was running ahead really, really fast. And it was some sort of bouncy spaniel thing.
Oh.
And then just stood and just watched its owner right next to the loch. And then it was to me and Alan, we were on a bench having our lunch. He's like, wants to go in the loch, but we've got to throw the ball first, and we need to go over there to go and get it. And so he called for the dog, and then they came back and he threw the ball, and then eventually the dog had enough of playing fetch, and so took the ball and put it down right next to the water. And the owner was like, okay, and started throwing it for the dog in the water.
Oh.
And I was so happy.
Oh. That's really sweet.
Yeah. But definitely, there was a moment where I was having a good time, and then didn't want to play if it didn't get to go in the water anymore.
It's gone a bit echoey. Sure why. Well, that's better. Yeah, all good now.
Still good. Yeah,
I think so.
Echo.
So, Ainsley, on your topic of wildflowers, while we were doing this litter pick, one of the women there had a little daughter with her. She's really cute. So, this little daughter was just going and picking wildflowers and then putting them in her mum's bag, just like on a mission.
With the litter?
No, with the wildflowers. So she's picking up little, I don't know, bluebells and daisies and dandelions and just filling her mum's bag up with these. It was just so sweet watching her.
Cute. The best kind of bouquet, full of dandelions.
Yeah.
Nutritious, non-invasive.
Dandelions, have we had this conversation with it? Dandelions are really sought after in Hong Kong and other places in East Asia because they're really difficult to grow.
Wow.
People think that they're just really pretty, and also that the way they propagate is really cool. And
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, they're on the internet being imagine just getting dandelions blowing into your garden and just growing, and you don't even have to do anything.
I think dandelions are pretty cool.
I like them.
At the moment, this garden we were at, the park we were in, they were all in whatever you call it, where they turn into little flyer things. They're in that stage. So just waiting to be kicked. I didn't kick any. I'm quite surprised I didn't actually.
You pick them? I pick them and blow them.
Don't you love joy?
I did. I should have, but I didn't. I don't know why. Yes, blowing them.
Saving
definitely.
them for other people. Letting other
Exactly,
people have the joy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I like your idea, Katie. Blowing them is much nicer.
Well, you blow them, and then the number of times you blow them tells you what time it is, because they're dandelion clocks.
Definitely effective time telling method.
Only tends to work kind of early afternoon, though, doesn't it? Really.
Oh no, some of
Depends
them
how hard you blow.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I wonder if that actually sort like if at the peak of dryness and heat during the day at noon, maybe they blow off faster, and as things get more cool and humid throughout the afternoon, this is probably not, there's no accuracy. But you could make up a story about why they're good clocks. Because they do that opening closing thing, like they close up when it's cold and humid and open up when it's dry and warm. Which makes them blow away more easily at the time when it's perfect for them, because they go further when it's dry and warm.
Does that mean fir cones are good at being a barometer? Because I've seen fir cones do that.
But there are definitely quite a lot of plants that you can use as a barometer.
Yeah.
I think aspens are the most common because they turn their leaves upside down and it's about to rain, and the bottom of their leaves is like silver rather than dark green. So
that's cool. Okay.
Yes, it's definitely going to rain.
So if you're under an aspen and you look up and everything's green, stay under the aspen.
You're a little tiny ant.
Because you're going to get rained on your head, and you should use the aspen as an umbrella.
On the topic of little baby ants, I'm not sure whether it was one of our friends' Facebook or one of my non-dancing. Anyway, there was an ant underneath a leaf, and this leaf had just like a little dewdrop dangling down from it. And this ant was like, having a little drink. So it's really sweet watching this little ant have a drink just off this little dewdrop that was just dangling down.
It's very cute.
Why are small things cute?
I don't know. Because I've heard that animals think that our babies are cute. So it must just be like, I don't know, a living thing. I don't know.
I've heard that elephants.
All animals? Like, or mammal animals?
Definitely, I think, well, like Bina was saying, like elephants and like, I don't know, dogs and things, they know our young are cute, or I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I think I've heard that most mammals think that other mammal babies are adorable, but like mammal babies like work on being cute.
Yeah.
It's their main goal.
Because they're helpless.
Big eyes.
I go and do some sleeping.
Oh,
That's reasonable. It's late.
Definitely.
It's time for sleeps.
It's been lovely to see you, Katie. Thank you for reminding me to come.
Had you forgotten?
Well, I wasn't sure. I was busy watching Eurovision, and I was thinking, I'm not sure what was happening. So, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having.
I'm off to you.
Sleep
Okay.
well. Yes, I think
Night,
it's
everyone.
time.
Okay.
Good night.
Big hugs, everyone. Night.
Bye.